Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into Upwork's latest proxy statement, a document that might sound boring, but it actually holds the keys to understanding how this company connecting businesses with freelance talent is run. We'll see how the bosses get paid and what's in store for the future. Prepare for a wild ride through executive compensation and hidden governance details. Proxy statement cover summary scroll. First, the quick hits. Upwork is holding its annual meeting on June 5, 2025. Stockholders will vote on electing directors, approving their accounting firm, and giving a thumbs up or down on executive pay. In 2024, Upwork had a pretty great year, with net income reaching $21.15 million. Revenue also increased by 12% even as the staffing industry struggled. They also bought back $100 million of their own stock. .et scroll, the company values what its investors think and talks to them about the business, executive pay, and even sustainability, or how environmentally friendly the company is. The company's letter to stockholders states that Uma, Upwork's mindful AI, is now a work companion to help people brainstorm, create content, code, and more. Text grow table of Kankonto say, now let's look at the table of contents. It outlines the key sections: corporate governance, director information, executive compensation, and other important details. The board is mostly independent, meaning the people making bid decisions aren't tied to the company's management. This helps keep things fair. When it comes to choosing new board members, they look at things like skills, experience, and knowledge about the business. They want a mix of people who can bring different things to the table. They even interview people to help them decide if they would be a good fit. The company wants to improve its board and has a process where they assess the performance of the board and its members. The board oversees different types of risks, with committees focusing on specific areas. The audit committee looks at financial risks. The compensation committee considers risks related to pay and so on. Cybersecurity is overseen by the audit committee, receiving regular updates from their security team. The company tries to minimize its impact on the planet. One way they do this is by using electricity that doesn't produce carbon. Scroll to executive compensation scroll. Here's what everyone is waiting for: how the executives get paid. The goal is to attract talented people, link their pay to company goals, and boost long-term value for stockholders. There are three main parts to executive compensation: base salary, short-term incentives like bonuses, and long-term incentives, stock. How it works is base salary helps attract and retain top talent, bonus incentivizes hitting yearly targets, and the stock aligns their financial interests with company's interests. The short-term incentives, bonuses, are based on company metrics like revenue and adjusted EBITDA, which measures the company's profitability. Long-term incentives is provided as company stocks. Upwork values what its investors think. They often engage with stockholders, which causes them to rethink their strategies and even the executive pays. One thing that some investors said was that they preferred profitability metrics, and in response, Upwork added the adjusted EBITDA as a metric. The compensation committee, the people who decide on pay, looks at a lot of factors when setting pay, including what similar companies are paying their executives. Non-employee directors get paid for being on the board and committees. The chairperson makes more, reflecting their bigger role. The company asks stockholders to approve their choice of PricewaterhouseCoopers as their accounting firm for 2025. PricewaterhouseCoopers billed Upwork about $3.06 million in 2024, mostly for audit services. Finally, stockholders get a chance to give an advisory vote on the company's executive pay. Hayden Brown is the President and Chief Executive Officer. Erica Gessert is the Chief Financial Officer. David Bottoms is the GM, or General Manager, Marketplace. Alright, let's take a look at some real numbers, Tactor. Hayden Brown, the CEO, the salary was at $595,000, but stock awards at $8.5 million. A pretty big year. Ponshu reconciliation of non-GAAP financial measures scroll. So for those interested, the proxy statement also offers reconciliation of their non-GAAP numbers to GAAP. The company has this anti-corruption policy that states employees must not take bribes to gain more business. Since AI is their focus, they have set some guidelines to build and deploy AI with safe practices. About 11.2 million shares can be issued based on these equity compensation plans. The audit committee checks the books and makes sure everything is accurate. Upwork doesn't allow related parties, those that are associated with board members, to have more than $120,000. Now, what's my take? Upwork is really betting big on AI and their financial results show they're growing. They are also listening to the people who have invested, which I think is a good thing. It keeps company leaders in check. However, with any company, there are risks. Tech can change fast, so what works today might not work tomorrow. They need to stay ahead of the curve. Overall, Upwork seems to be on a pretty solid path, but they need to keep an eye on those risks. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, give us a like, leave a comment, and definitely subscribe for more corporate decoding.